Dragons Rising has only been out for about 2 years now, and I think that it is safe to say that a lot of people are really enjoying it. Both of the seasons that have been released so far have ranked really high for me amongst the rest of the Ninjago series. Like, they are probably both in the top 5 seasons for me. So that is why I'm asking this question. Is Dragons Rising already better than the original series? And if not yet, will it be? So the first thing I want to talk about is how Dragons Rising is meant to be a one huge overarching story, which means that the main story will slowly build up as every season releases, and that also means that every season is connected and each season builds off of each other, which we have already seen happen quite a number of times already. And I think that this is just such a good thing, because every plot point that was introduced in a season would 9 out of 10 times be resolved within that season and then be completely forgotten about. But with Dragons Rising, new and interesting plot points are constantly being brought up, and it seems that when one plot point gets resolved, 2 more open up. And that is just overall a good thing for the future of the series, as it keeps the series fresh. And I can't speak for you guys, but at least for me, it makes me even more excited for each new season. And speaking of keeping things fresh, the biggest thing that Dragons Rising has changed has obviously been that every realm is now merged together. And this is just another extremely positive thing for the show. Not only does it add more to the lore of Ninjago, but it keeps things interesting, exploring new realms and seeing how things have changed. And at least to me, I've always enjoyed the Ninjago stories that take place outside Ninjago. I mean, Hunted was my favourite season of the original series, and my favourite part of the season was the stuff about the first realm. Another thing that I love that Dragons Rising has been doing a lot so far is the character development. In the early seasons of the original show, we really did get spoiled with character development, but I would say that around Sons of Garmadon and beyond that, they ended up just heavily focusing on Lloyd, and unless a character had a focus season, such as Jay with Prime Empire, Cole with Master of the Mountain, and Nia in Seabound, the other characters were just kept to the side, and that really badly affected characters such as Kai and Zane, and also Jay, even though he did have his own season in this era of Ninjago. And don't get me wrong, it is pretty obvious that Lloyd is still the focus of the series, and you could argue that the other ninja are in the background even more than they were originally, and I would say that you would be right when the other ninja have been given development, especially Kai. I mean, the writers have been absolutely cooking with him recently. And I also wanted to quickly mention Jay, because how could I not? They have been slowly building up his arc across the last 2 seasons now. You could argue that it has been a little bit too slow, but I don't see any rush, because even if Jay joins the team in like seasons 4 or even 5, but that is probably unlikely, we will still have Jay in the team for like 2 or 3 seasons before Dragons Rising ends. And I mean, Jay being evil and just being away from the ninja team in general has been such a cool story, and is also very unique because we have never seen anything like it in Ninjago before. Okay, so we've gone over the positives, but if I'm being completely honest, there are just a couple of negatives, but do they outweigh the positives? Firstly, let's talk about the new season format. 1 season a year, which I think is a good thing. 20 episodes, which I also really like, because why would I not say yes to more Ninjago? But that also means that the season gets released in 2 separate parts across the year, and I do not like that. So if I could choose one thing from the original series to come back, it would be getting the episodes released weekly. What I like about this release schedule is that it keeps the hype going for longer, and as a community, we can discuss and theorize about the new episodes as they release. And I do get why episodes are released like how they are, because basically every other show is doing it, but I still can't help but wish for the old format to come back. But that isn't everything that I wanted to talk about when it comes to splitting the season into 2 parts, because each part doesn't really feel that connected with the other part of their respective season. Season 1 Part 1 was mainly about most of the ninja team reuniting and also introducing us to the new world. And then Part 2 was about the ninja fighting the dragon energy cores. And to be fair, those two parts don't really feel too disconnected, but the two season 2 parts should have just been two completely separate seasons. Part 1 is about the ninja trying to stop the blood moon ritual, and then part 2 is about a tournament which is completely unrelated. But at the end of the day, the show is still really good. So now it is time to answer the big question: is Dragons Rising better than the original series? And the simple and I would say pretty obvious answer is that it is too early to tell. The original series was around for 11 years and Dragons Rising has only been out for 2. But I think that if Dragons Rising keeps doing what they are doing and the quality stays as high as it has been, then as hard as I think it will be to say as I grew up watching and loving the original series, I think Dragons Rising will end up being better. But hey, that's just a theory. A Ninjago theory. See you later, B Ninja.